The reveals have finally shown up in this week's episode of Stargirl because it's back. Episode 12 is here and holy shit. I mean, my theory was kind of right, but like at the same time, it wasn't that close. But let's get into the episode because goddamn. Welcome to NonStopAntonio, where I talk about everything nerdy. If you like content just like this, hit the subscribe button for more, and I hope you enjoy this video. So first off, this episode was absolutely fantastic. Like the big reveal and end with Sylvester actually being the Ultra Humanite this whole time blew my mind. It wasn't at all what I was thinking was going to happen. My theory was that the Ultra Humanite was actually just controlling him with mind control powers, but that wasn't the case at all, and it was actually just the Ultra Humanite being Sylvester, which is absolutely insane that I did not see coming. I was like, how the hell does he have all his memories? How does he know all this stuff? But it's just because he's been doing his research for the role, because he was Dolores Winters, a famous actress at one point in time, which the episode starts off with showing us who Dolores Winters is, having her meet Dragon King, and Dragon King being turned into the lizard, showing that he's been experimenting on himself. And this was decades ago. So it's still insane how the time works in this, how so many villains and heroes have been around for decades and they still look really young. Because, you know, time vortex, all that kind of stuff. One of the things I thought was going to happen in this episode was seeing Artemis go after Icicle or try to get the JSA to do it. Because Sylvester in the beginning tells her to go, well, Sylvester goes in the beginning and tries to tell her that, hey, your parents wouldn't want this for you. So he's just getting another person out of his way so they don't have to deal with them. But I feel like Artemis is going to help in the final episode because, well, come on. We didn't get enough of Artemis, and Artemis is kind of part of the JSA, but also not really, and I want to see more of her before the show is completely over. And even in this episode, the Ultra Humanite, who's being Sylvester, has fooled us all because he references everything from the past. He references how he has no lineage or anyone to really pass the mantle to that's not Courtney, and how, you know, the JSA, a lot of them just died and didn't have anyone to carry on their legacies. Because he mentions the Atom's son. So the Atom has a son, which we haven't met yet. Sandman's son, which we have been referenced to with both Jade and Obsidian going to see him. And of course, he references both the Green Lantern's children. And on top of it, he references characters like Mr. Terrific, the Flash, the Spectre, and Dr. Fate, whose all legacies just died because they never had a lineage. I mean, I'm not sure how the Spectre would have a legacy. I guess for whoever is the Spectre at the time could have had kids previously. So it's interesting that there are other JSA members that are kind of confirmed not to have kids, which still not sure about that. And the fact that they're saying that the Flash is dead, I was still hoping to see Jay Garrick show up once again at some point. So it's kind of disappointing, but also the show's canceled, so, you know, we're never going to see that anyways. But like the whole episode, I'm like, oh, Sylvester's being like a horrible person. He's trying to push Courtney away. He's trying to push Pat away. He's making them all feel like shit, so that he can go face Icicle alone. Because he wants to be the hero, he needs to atone for everything that's happened to him. And I'm like, oh my god, all this shit's gonna happen. And it all didn't matter in the end, because it was actually just Ultra Humanite the entire time. Which I was like, oh my god. Now it kind of makes sense why the episode's called The Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemberton. Because Sylvester Pemberton is actually dead. He's gone. His body was preserved by the cosmic energy, but his brain was not. And like the things he was saying to Pat was so bad, because he's like, you're a sidekick, it's your fault I died, and all these horrible things to him. And then he tells Courtney she's now worthy, and I'm like, oh my god. But then I realized that he was just trying to protect them. He destroys Stripes so that Sylvester doesn't have it. But it was all just part of his plan to throw them off so that they couldn't go after him and think that he's actually the bad guy. Which again, was just such a good reveal because I didn't see it coming and I don't think a lot of people did. I mean, I think a lot of us assumed that he was being controlled. We didn't actually think that Sylvester Pemberton was actually the Ultra Humanite this entire time. I like how Pat doesn't listen to him and takes a flamethrower to the McKenn's house because, you know, Icicles, flamethrower, so he thinks he's gonna help him. And then even then, you're still thinking, oh, Sylvester's being good because he's like, I told you not to come and I didn't mean it. Then Sylvester knocks out Pat when Cindy and them realize that the Ultra Humanite's actually Dragon King, and I'm like, I was just in shock when I saw that scene. I was like, holy crap. And I like how when we get to that reveal that Dragon King is actually in the Ultra Humanite's body, it's all because Jakeem is trying to impress Cindy and he wishes that Thunderbolt will bring them to the lab that has the answers looking for. And I love Mike's reaction. Oh no. Because it wasn't a specific wish, which actually surprisingly worked because it brought them exactly where they needed to go. I just loved it because Thunderbolt's like, well, I brought you somewhere to impress Cindy. And they go there, they look at it, they find Dragon King's dead body with his brain missing. And I was like, holy shit, whose brain is Dragon King in? Because I thought maybe it was one of our characters. Instead, it was a big switcheroo with Dragon King's brain being in Ultra Humanites and then Ultra Humanite's brain being in Sylvester. Which again, big reveal that Dragon King's still alive as well. Like I kind of think we had a suspicion that he was alive, but weren't 100% sure this entire time. And also on top of everything that's happening in this episode, we had Rick actually going for help because he's dealing with withdrawals if he takes off the hourglass, which I was saying, drug addiction. And it doesn't look like it's going to get solved by the end of the seasons, which sucks because it would have been cool to see that storyline being continued in season 4. Even when he was talking to Courtney and Yolanda and everyone about needing help, he mentions how Sylvester is the one that told him to take off the limiter. And they're like, well, he should know that's wrong because of what happened to Rex Tyler. And Courtney starts to think like, oh shit. But we never actually get them realizing that Sylvester is actually the bad guy. And we just get the big evil monologue at the end of Sylvester burying Pat, which honestly, is Pat gonna survive this? Is Grundy gonna save him? Because Grundy's buried somewhere in the forest, right? Someone's gotta come to the rescue. There's no way they're gonna kill Pat, right? I mean, the show's over, I need answers. But while he's doing it, he references the 7 soldiers of victory again, and Ted giving him the staff. I was like, oh, does somehow the Ultra Humanite have Sylvester's memories? But then we learned slowly that he actually just did all his research. But like, goddamn, he just spilled all the freaking beans to their plan, like right away. Him getting hurt was actually all part of the plan. It was to use Dragon King, Ultra Humanite, to throw him in the air to make it look like he was a victim. Then he made Rick take off the limiter so that the hourglass would hurt him and he would get addicted to it in a sense. And he had Courtney and the staff come to believe he's actually Starman so that he could bond with the staff for sure. And it's like now he has control of the staff, which I'm sure will come back and Courtney will get it back when the staff realizes, wait a second, this isn't right, and goes back to Courtney, because the staff has a will of its own, right? He convinced Yolanda to push Cindy away because Cindy was like the one that could probably have figured it out. Then they used Beth to cut off her parents to make her distracted and sent Mike and Jakeem into harm's way going after the Ultra Humanite originally. So like everything was part of their plan from the very beginning. This whole season, everything that happened was part of the evil plan that was been going on. And Ultra Humanite does not care about what Dragon King and what Icicle is doing. He just wants a body to be able to live and walk around again because he spent so long in the gorilla body where he couldn't really go out because he was a freaking albino gorilla. He can't just walk out in public. But now in Sylvester's body, he could walk around and be like he once was as Dolores Winters. Really good episode, like so goddamn good. The twist caught me off guard. I was on the edge of my seat, like what's gonna happen? Like I was questioning a lot of things, but again, like wait a second, trying to figure out what was going on and who was gonna get hurt, and just pretty much what the plot was gonna unfold. This episode was done really well. We have one episode left to really wrap up the story, and because I don't think the show was ready to be canceled, I'm wondering how the season's gonna end in the end because it was supposed to get a season 4, I'm assuming, and it's just very disappointing that it's not going to be continued right now. And I really hope that James Gunn does end up picking it up because I feel like this is one of those shows that could just keep going. There's already a set cast, the acting's already really good, the stories have been great, and you can just keep building on this world that's on the separate Earth. Especially if you're gonna have this DC multiverse, you're gonna have a Stargirl Earth for just that, and that's okay. And we could easily deal with that because it could get taken off the CW. It can be put on HBO Max with Titans and Doom Patrol. It honestly should have went there originally because it was on DC Universe, just like how Titans and Doom Patrol was supposed to be. And then they went to HBO Max. Like, honestly, they should have just kept it there, and I don't know why they didn't. Fantastic episode. I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen in the final, especially with the trailer showing that the JSA is going to be versing the 3 of them. It also looks like it's just going to be Yolanda, Beth, Courtney, and Rick that are fighting the Ultra Humanite, Dragon King, and Icicle. And it's gonna be interesting because obviously Courtney's gonna go against Ultra Humanite Sylvester. I'm assuming Cindy's gonna end up joining the fight as well. And I'm hoping Jakeem uses some of his Thunderbolt powers to help as well because, well, she's gonna go after Ultra Humanite, Dragon King, because it's her father and she needs to find out the cure. And I wonder if she's gonna get that cure. And then Icicle, everyone else is gonna go after him because it's goddamn Icicle and we're gonna be putting him down. So I'm really interested to see what happens there, because the plot keeps thickening. There's only 1 episode left and it all needs to get wrapped up. So what do you guys think is going to happen in the final episode? How did you feel about this one? What did it catch you off guard? The big twist that happened? Let me know down in the comments. And, you know, we got 1 episode left. I'll be covering it next week. So make sure you hit the subscribe button for more. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll talk to you later.